Now, Ambassador Suresh K. Goel, now the Iran had said that if the US is America's first deal possible, and if Israel first, then no deal, war continues. Now, this message has been put across by the Vice President of Iran on social media X. What do you make out of this statement? Ambassador Suresh K. Goel, please unmute yourself.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying that before any conversations begin or negotiations or talks begin, even if they are from the separate rooms, it's very clear that both the sides are going to start from the maximalist position, number one. Number two, as far as Iran is concerned, for them, Israel is the bug in the room, bugbear. They have always maintained, please remember that 28th February, when the war began, it was not USA per se. It was basically persuasion by Netanyahu and persuasion by Saudi Arabia that the war began, attacks against Iran began, and therefore Iran knows very clearly which direction the conversations need to go into. So that is number two. Number three, Israel has clearly indicated that their attacks on Lebanon are not going to stop. Even if they have given the indication for discussions, negotiations, Lebanon and Israel in the USA, they have clearly said no to the ceasefire earlier. And therefore, while for Iran, stopping the war means stopping the war against its associates, its proxies, whatever you want to call them, which includes Hezbollah. Therefore, I think maximalist position being what it is going to be that way, but I'm quite confident on my own that when the conversations begin, they're going to try and find out if there is a way around it or have to come to a common position on this critical issue of security.
Major General Sudhakarji, when the Iranian delegation landed in Pakistan, Asim Munir received them, and while receiving, he wore combat fatigue, and while receiving JD Vance, the Vice President of US, Asim Munir was seen in a formal attire. So, according to you, what does it symbolize?
Addressed to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Major General Sudhakarji.
It has been said. Sorry, Sabir, was the question addressed to me or
to Major General Sudhakarji?
All right. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for getting me for your show. And my very warm greetings to distinguished co-panelist, Ambassador Goel sir. With regard to the question which you have raised, I don't see much of reading to be done in the attire of the chief of the army staff of Pakistan. Maybe my take on the whole issue is that maybe he has rushed, or it could have been an impromptu kind of a reception carried out by him, but I don't see there is any double meaning behind the uniform. But having said that, the bigger issue should not be lost sight of. If you have time, if you come back to me, I would like to dilate my point of view on the bigger issue. Back to you, please.
Major General Sudhakarji, we have seen that Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has told his German counterpart that Iran enters talk with complete distrust. Now, this is a make or a break discussion to be taken place in Islamabad, and already we are seeing this sort of reactions coming in from Abbas Araghchi as well as the Vice President.
Absolutely. But nobody, why only Iran? No one in the world can trust Donald Trump. His own countrymen may not be trusting him as much as they used to do him during the election campaign, but be that as it may, at least some beginning has been made. There is a ceasefire. let's look at the glasses half full with water and half filled with air. There is some optimism, there is a hope for success, and without hope, there is nothing that can survive in this universe. So, having said that, I know it will go through a very turbulent stage, turbulent journey of ups and downs, and no peace talk ever, no ceasefire ever has got finalized in one sitting. This is no exception. My take on the whole issue is that they may have to go in for a number of such kind of sittings or talks at maybe at different places with the different kinds of stakeholders, because as of now Israel is not party to the entire ceasefire, and it is a primary, I would say, it's a primary stakeholder. Without Israel, it becomes totally meaningless. So, therefore, we need to actually think and ponder over the issue that will it have any meaning if Israel is not present in the ceasefire talk. And second thing that comes to my mind is that some beginning has been made. We should not expect anything very big outcomes out of it. At least the relevant stakeholders, if not entirely, majority of them are there. Let them talk it out and let them see some logic and bring in kind of a productive and progressive roadmap towards a lasting peace. Because this mindless conflict, which was triggered by none other than Donald Trump and Netanyahu, and they have caused devastation and I would say catastrophe to the entire world order, and the livelihood of common people, whether in the leading economies or global south, is being adversely impacted because of price rise in fuel, food, and fertilizer, and other products as well. Therefore, I would recommend that somehow somebody has to make a beginning by saying, apart from the two preconditions which Iran has already laid out on the table, is that the complete firing must freeze. The exchange of fire from Israel to Iran and the USA forces to Iran and retaliation by Iran must come to a freeze during this period. That will have a substantive meaning and contribute towards some kind of a enduring effort of sincerity. Last but not the least, the fact that you raised about the trust. Everyone knows that Donald Trump is playing games. He cannot be trusted. Also, one is mindful of the fact while the talks are on, for all you know, they may be preparing to attack, like they have done it twice in the past. Once in 12-day conflict last year, and once when the diplomatic solution was almost reached by the interlocutor, that is Omanian foreign minister in Geneva to talk. While the solution was on hand, still they went into bomb the supreme leader and 49 important leaders of Iran to death. Whether it is acceptable or not, the world has to decide. It has to take a call. But my personal take is it is most unethical, illegal, unprovoked kind of a war which has been imposed on Iran, which should be contested and called out loud and clearly. Back to you, please.
Well, I'll request both of our panelists to stay with me. Now, viewers, the United States Vice President JD Vance has arrived in Pakistan for peace talks with Iran amid security. Now, Vance, who is leading the high-level US delegation, arrived at the Nur Khan Airbase in Air Force 2, a US Air Force Boeing C-32A. Now, the Air Force 2 was escorted by Pakistan's Air Force jet. Now, senior officials and envoys are accompanying him as part of the high-level diplomatic mission tasked with stabilizing the region. Now, JD Vance and delegation were transferred immediately to a high-security fortress like motorcade for the short route to the venue. Now, the convoy included heavily armored Chevrolet Suburbans, now specialized ambulance support truck, ECM jams vehicles against explosive threats, and SUVs and vans for advisors and staff, rear tail vehicle for extra protection, 40 to 100 vehicles in total. And viewers, meanwhile, Islamabad was under tight security in a near lockdown situation. Now, Ambassador Suresh, is the US negotiating for the US or for the Israel? Because the Iran has made it clear, the reaction coming in from the Vice President, that if it is Israel-led deal, then there is no deal. But if it is US-led deal, then we are going to see a deal. Ambassador Suresh K. Goyal, please unmute yourself.
No, Sabya, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always put myself on mute when I'm not talking. As I said in my earlier remark, the two countries are going to start with the maximalist position in any case. So I have no doubt about the position put forward by Iran as they have done it. However, if you look at the realistic options available to the two of them, they are presenting their positions separately from separate rooms through the mediators, that is Pakistani officials, Pakistani high-level officials who are carrying these positions. I believe that both the delegations have also met Shehbaz Sharif separately, presenting what their positions are, hope with the expectation that Pakistani delegation will play a role in putting them together and finding some kind of a common ground, even where at the moment none exists. Number one. Number two, we all know how February 28 took place. There is no doubt that the war began by insistence, persuasion, whatever you want to call it, from Israel and from Saudi Arabia. And therefore, any kind of a durable peace or end of war will have to involve both Saudi Arabia as well as Israel. Bear in mind the fact that the war is not just Iran versus USA, even though USA is the protagonist now, but the war is actually in Gulf. The war is West Asia. Aggression has taken place against the countries in West Asia. Bases in West Asia in Gulf have been used to attack Iran. Therefore, they have a role. Israel has bombed Iran and the other areas. So eventually they will have to be involved. My sense is that while the conversations will begin from different rooms, trying to find that they should come closer to a position. Once they find, if they find at all, that there is a possibility of these conversations proceeding ahead, but they will have to involve Israel. My sense is that they may have to change the venue, because I'm quite convinced that a solution is not possible without Israel. Even if Iran is saying that if it is Israel-led solution, it is not acceptable, they will say it. But USA is going to be there. USA is going to be essentially guaranteeing Israeli behavior post-agreement. Unless there is such a kind of an assurance from the USA, I don't think Iran will automatically trust Israel in any kind of a security deal. So what I'm trying to say is, it's only the beginning. We will have to wait and see how the talks proceed in Islamabad. It may not be one day, it can be 2 days, 3 days, let us see how it goes. But eventually, in the case of any possible success, inkling of a possible success, the talks will have to expand and include Israel, which is not possible in Pakistan. And Iran will also, incidentally, sorry, just as an anecdote, I want to mention to you, for those who work in the international fora, I have been part of the Indian delegation to the United Nations for 4 years. When the Iranians and the American delegations come across each other in New York or in Geneva, they don't even shake hands. They turn their faces away. Israeli, they don't even acknowledge for simple reasons. But after 50 years, Iranians and USA are talking to each other, even if indirectly. Sooner or later, Iran will have to acknowledge that Israel is part of the deal and has to be talked to, but that is some time away.
Major General Sudhakar ji, is Pakistan coordinating with China behind the scenes?
Well, I don't have any direct access, but going by joining the dots in the open source, without any doubt, that is why Pakistan has been chosen by Donald Trump, notwithstanding our Pakistan bashing every now and then. Pakistan has to be identified as the only country which has got direct access with China and who are welcomed to connect with any official in the hierarchy at any time. It is the only country. No other country have this kind of diplomatic privilege. So from that, this has come out loud and clearly in a book called No Exit from Pakistan by Daniel Marquet, and that is why Pakistan has been chosen. And secondly, why Pakistan has been chosen, besides the multiple reasons, is that it is a neighbor of Iran and they are the best choice, best option to actually contact the officials of Iran and put across the requirement, at least make a kind of a head start in the process of ceasefire talk. So, whether we like it or not, Pakistan, with blood on the hand, at least has been able to negotiate and bring ceasefire at least for these 14 days. This is a great achievement under the trying circumstances. And third and last point, to dilate further, which I responded to your question, is that if at all this talk is taking place, then China is a very heavyweight, and it is because of China this is actually going ahead. Without China's pressure or cajoling or motivation, I don't think Iran would have come for talks. They are quite capable, they are resilient, they have the defense capability to actually retaliate at a point of choosing and time, and it is not they who had asked for the ceasefire. The ceasefire came from Donald Trump. That has to be understood. Although Donald Trump makes a fictional victory, he is in a habit of making a fictional victory every time. He is on the lookout. There is too much of pressure. There is the Constitution Amendment 25 being talked about by his own people, Republicans. Democrats are there. They are divided. Democrats have already joined hands. They have become a formidable force now. With midterm elections round the corner, Donald Trump has left with no option, despite being entrapped in an escalation entrapment. He's still looking out for very honorable exit from the Middle East and leave things to, I don't know, in foreseeable future, if it is going to hold out for something good and productive and progressive in times ahead. That is all I say. And China has definitely has got a role. Without China, the talk wouldn't have taken place.
Ambassador Suresh K. Goyal, according to you, with the latest development coming in before the deal takes place, before the talks takes place, according to you, who is winning the narrative war, US or Iran?
A difficult question really here. Uh, I think in general, if we look at the overall global opinion, including in the USA, there is an overall sympathy with Iran because most of the countries, the common people, I mean, at a foreign policy level, countries will have different opinion at the level of governments. There's no doubt about it, like in Gulf, other countries. But at the level of people, there is a general sympathy with Iran, considering that it has been attacked. That attack started from the USA on Iran, particularly when Iran had already practically agreed to a deal on the nuclear enrichment program. Uh, but Sabir, the point here is not who is winning the narrative war. In the foreign policy issues, opinions do matter, narratives matter, but eventually what matters is who is able to get to the final shamat, checkmate, and obtain the position that you're seeking for. And in this particular case, there are many roadblocks, one of them being Israel. Therefore, we cannot say that just because there is an overall narrative victory for Iran, it is going to get what it wants. Incidentally, with your permission, I want to mention two or three things here. Besides China, we need to watch out for Russia. It is curious, I would say, that so far in the whole game, Russia has kept completely quiet, with the exception of saying the Straits of Hormuz is like a nuclear weapon for Iran, and they've used it effectively. There has been no statement on the talks. I find it very surprising because Russia has a huge lot of influence with Iran. Lot of Russia benefited a lot from the oil market. Russia and Iran are partners in the defense industry. Therefore, I find it very strange, number one. Number two, I think Pakistan also recognizes that in Iran, it is IRGC which calls the shots. IRGC and the clerical. And therefore, when he went to meet to receive the Iranian delegation wearing the army fatigues, that was recognizing the importance of Iranian armed forces. On the other hand, if you recall, before 28th February, JD Vance had been arguing against any military intervention or military invasion. There, in the case of USA and particularly JD Vance, highlighting the civilian role in the overall process is important. I think it's important to recognize, therefore, that we need to look at different approaches from the two sides in the overall conversation. Sabir.